horizon meets the waterline, drifting on, catch the sun on the rocks with a wedge of light. I feel the waves rush over me, got some golden treasures hidden on the ocean, and a pearl of glitter. This is something that I can't forget. No, I can't forget. No, it's in my head, in my head, in my head. Can't forget, can't forget. No, it's in my head, in my head, in my head. Far from there, far from where the horizon meets the waterline, drifting on, catch the sun on the rocks with a wedge of light.
Boom! Hey everybody. I let the song run a little bit longer because I actually like the song. I've used it twice now, so. All right. So here we are. See my little stats. Yay. What we're doing here, and I just realized this as I sat down to work a little bit more on this setup, that I actually might not even be able to race on Friday. One of my really good friends is getting married, and I'm officiating the wedding, and I'm in the wedding, and I may be busy on Friday, so I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to race. But I also have a cold or allergies or something. But yay! So here we are. I really haven't done anything with the setup since we last left. What I'd really like to hit on today is maybe tune up on the tires a little bit. That would be good. Start working on going back and forth between tire temps and tire camber, and then we'll get into some of the other finer points of the setup process. So like I said, well, I should say, I do believe I said the last time that we were here was one of the last few things we did was we were doing springs and static weight distribution to help us get where we wanted to be dynamically as the car was going through the corners, and we decided that turn 3 and 4 are the most important corners. That's what we're going to focus on. And so here you can see pretty much almost exactly where I closed this Motec out the last time that we were here on Monday morning. We got turn 3 and 4 where the car is loaded, highlighted, or to be more specific, the portion of the corner where the car has reached its maximum loading. And we came down here and we could see the dynamic weight distribution on the right side of the car. 2295, 2266, a difference of about, what is that, 39? 39 pounds? That ain't bad. You could keep chasing that to be perfect, but to be completely honest, I like it a little on the tight side as it is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And number two, you could sit here and spend hours just trying to get that right, and there's nothing to say that you didn't turn into the corner a little harder, or the track's a little warmer or something like that. There's so many small little details and variables that go into how much traction and everything like that you have through a corner. To really sit there and, if you got the time, have at it. But to really sit there and just hone in and just bear down on just trying to get one variable straight. I should say perfect. Like I said, there's some things that I'll talk about, and I will flat out tell you that your return on your time investment isn't going to be much. So that's where we were. So let's just go out, because we started a new session, and let's get the some baseline times and whatnot for the split times, so we can get the graphics and see if what we're doing and the garage is making improvements, or if it's not. So, and you're going to see me wiping my nose a lot. I am freaking out of control here. Overdrive the car on the new tires. You want to try and keep that to a minimum, because you'll get a false time. Like, the only reason that you went fast is because A, you threw it into the corner, and B, the tires were just new enough to allow you to do that. It's not representative of normal corner. Actually, they were a normal left corner. So the tire temps are coming up. Now we can get a little more aggressive without scrubbing the tires as much. Still overdrive the entry to turn 1. So before I started streaming, I went in and I checked Monday night's results, and just to see the lap times and where we were at. The fast guys obviously they were in the 19s, on the low to mid 19s, and we obviously are not. However, I don't mind that, because if you remember, we've taken a lot of downforce off the car. We don't have the tire temperature or the tire pressures optimized. We don't have the cambers optimized. I mean, we're still really rough, pretty far off what I would consider racing. So I'm not worried. The only thing that, like I said, I'm worried about is the fact that I'm doing all this work and I might not even be able to get the race because I'm going to be doing wedding stuff. So Windsor, he's my boy. Michigan, which is basically the middle of nowhere in freaking Canada. And I was here for 9 years, 10 years. We got a new talking and racing at the same time. We got a new employee, and he just happened to be not only from my hometown, but from the same flight school that I went to, just outside of Pittsburgh. I thought it was pretty hilarious. So obviously the tire temperature is going to be freaking off, but that doesn't matter. We got telemetry, so we can go back in and look at telemetry. I just wanted to get the times down anyway. So, actually, give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some tissues and stuff for the spigot of a nose I got going on. Okay, I'm back. One of the things I got through that lap that threw me off was that I got a notification on PM on Facebook in our league chat, and somebody was asking me what the deal was with the late model bodies, and essentially 5-Star came out, which is one of the major suppliers of short track racing bodies, both asphalt and dirt, and they make the Xfinity bodies now, and they also make the ARCA bodies now, and I do believe the K&N bodies now. So they're blowing. Well, they've always been big, but now they're really going big time. But the late model bodies really haven't changed. In forever. They're all pretty vanilla. They all look the same. Everybody runs Chevy SS's, with the exception of a couple Ford Fusions. All the cars look alike, which is one of the reasons why whenever I bought my late model, I was so stoked, because it's actually a body from about 15 years ago. No. Yeah, it's from like 2003 or something like that. But it's a Grand Prix. It's a Pontiac Grand Prix body, and so the nose is shaped like a Pontiac Grand Prix, and all the decals and stuff. So the car really stood out until I wrecked it, and I have to get a new nose, bumper cover. So the late model bodies have been the same for like ever. And my buddy, and I should say 5-Star, came out with they developed new bodies, Camaro, Toyota, and the Ford, and the governing, quote unquote, governing body, ABC, were kind of huffy about approving it, because 5-Star didn't let them have as much access into the aerodynamic testing and the wind tunnel testing as this ABC governing body wanted, and so it was just one of those things, little power struggle. So my buddy wants to know what exactly happened, so I'm just explaining that to him right quick. Sorry. All right, so here we are with this, and so the car, car pretty much felt good until I lost my concentration and everything like that. So, let's do some simple stuff, and we're gonna do this one thing at a time. And the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to come down here. We're going to look at telemetry. We're going to come out of OBS and take a quick peek at telemetry. You're going to load up this last one, this last run. Load that up. And see where we were. All right. So as you can see, we ain't all that shabby as far as the balance. 2302, 2318. I mean, to be completely honest, that could fluctuate back and forth just depending on what we got going on. So I am not concerned about that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty damn happy. Hold on, guys. Oh, this is gonna be a fun stream. All right, so here we are, looking at the tire temperatures, which are pretty much pretty damn close. Going through the corner here. And like I said, we wanted a lot more. The left rear actually doesn't look all that bad. The right side tires definitely do not have enough camber dialed in, and the left front looks like it doesn't have a lot of camber dialed in. So what we're going to do is that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. Okay? And this is how this cycle is going to go. Wait, Jessica. And here's the reason why that you have to do this in a cycle. Remember how I said at the beginning of last practice stream where I said how I like to set the tire pressures the same on the left sides and the right sides because I want as much parity in the front and the rear tires on both sides. Oh, Lord. Well, the little one's going to be upset because he just ran out there to go bark at absolutely nothing. Because tires are springs, and the reason why they're springs and they actually have what they do call spring rate is because, and this is very obvious, that the more air pressure you put into a tire, the less it's going to be able to be compressed, as you know, with weight. And the less that the sidewalls are going to deform and things like that, so they're not going to squish as much. So that affects camber, or I should say that affects the amount of contact patch on the to the surface of the track, given a specific amount of camber. So let's just say we're going to come in here and we're going to change the tire pressures, and we're gonna do the right sides first. And we started up pretty high, and we're gonna start stepping our way back down. As you step the tire pressures down, the tires, the sidewalls are not going to be as stiff, so they're actually going to compress a little bit, which means for a given amount of camber, is the tire sidewall compresses. Like if this is just the sidewall of the tire, like this is the rim up here, this is the sidewall, and then down here is going to be your contact patch. You have a lot of tire pressure, and as you take a tire pressure away, it's going to squish, right? And as it squishes, it's going to start making that contact patch go more and more and more. So you can increase the size of the contact patch by just reducing the amount of air in the tire, and you don't have to touch the camber, okay? However, there's still going to be an optimal amount of camber for a very particular air pressure at a particular track. So that's why I say it's a cycle. We're gonna drop the air pressure. Well, let's just say because we're gonna do both sides. We're gonna adjust the air pressure, and then we're gonna go run a lap, and we're gonna see where the camber is by looking at the temperature differential. And then, excuse me, and then we go back out and we do that again. Drop the tire pressure, or adjust the tire pressure, whichever way you need to go. Go back out, see where you're at with that particular tire pressure, if it helped or if it hurt. If it helped, you go back into your camber, or even if it hurt, you still go out to your camber, and then you're going to adjust your camber and optimize the temperature spread. And then you're going to see, okay, overall, the going in that direction helped the car. Did it make it go faster? Did it help the fall off over the fuel run, or didn't it? So as I say, it's a cycle, and it's going to be a long process now because I don't know what these tires like at this particular track. As I said, it's a lot of work up front, but as you build up your notebook and as you figure this stuff out, later on down the line, you can come into a particular track and you can go, okay, the session temperature is this. I know that the optimal hot pressures should be this, which means I start the cold pressures off at this, which means the camber should be about here. So, well, I should say that you set the cold pressures according to your notebook, go out and run, see where your temperature spread is, start adjusting your cambers, and then the process becomes a heck of a lot faster. So, just recap, 50 was the most on this side, and we didn't start there because we know it's not going to be all the way up on that high end of the spectrum on that adjustment, and because even on that run, we went up to 56 psi, and what will happen is that the tires will heat up so much, and you'll build up so much pressure that their spring rates become exceptionally high, and they become very, very rigid, and you just start bouncing, just like a basketball. So we know we're not going to do 46, but let's go check the ride heights. 358. 846. Okay, so it's a little more, but that's okay because just like your actual suspension spring rates, a softer spring rate will allow for more compression. Same thing with the tires. Not as much as a spring change would be, but still a little bit. But like I said, we're not going to sit here and go crazy because we're not going to be able to do it. We're not going to have the time. All right. So with that, let's go back out and do some more laps. There's not a big difference in the feel of the car. However, we are gaining a little bit of lap times over previous just a tad. takes a little while to get used to the handling change. It's subtle, but it's still there. Because we didn't make a huge air pressure change. We just made 2 pounds. Huge in my book is like 5. Or it's not 20. 5 is the same number. Okay, let's see how this all worked out. So the wear seems even, but that's not as important to make sure the outside and the inside are even in that scenario, because the you still want some camber dialed in, and that means you're gonna see some difference in wear. So even wear doesn't exactly mean optimal performance. Okay, so I'm thinking this is still, yeah. So let's go look at this further on down the line and see where we are. Let's use that. So we're still good on the dynamic weights. And so you come through here and you see you still only have a couple degrees of change. Okay, so a couple degrees of change. We want to dial in a little bit more. So, is this my phone dying? It's my phone dying. So let's do that. Okay. I still like the front preload a little more than the back. I don't know if that actually does anything, but that's just a little hiccup of mine. Okay, so made that change. Let's go back out and see if we made a difference. See if we made a difference in this world. diagrams seem to reflect the positive of the change. Say positive result of the change. Now, believe me, it is not lost on me that we still have to add downforce into the car. And as soon as you do that, that is going to change your dynamic loading on the car, which is going to change the camber that gets influenced by that increase in the suspended travel. I know, but you need to start someplace. You need to get a baseline. And this is it. Of course, I will. So we turn to 7. Alright, so still got some even wear. Not so much across the back. Take another look at Motec so we can see where we are. Only a few degrees temperature split, which isn't good. Is not good. You want more. So let's come over to the there. Now we come back to the tires. Okay, that's weird. That's really weird. The outside of the tires are now hotter than the inside of the tires with an with a more negative camber, which pulls the, I should say less negative camber, which pulls the tire in. Or I say more negative camber, which pulls the tires in. Yeah. Let's see what. Oh, I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm stupid. See, don't make this mistake, because it's easy to make this mistake. All right. That's not for the corner. This is. You have to move the cursor into here. Back on the straightaways, especially on a like long flat straight, like the backstretch at a lot of ovals, as you go through the corner, everything rolls over, and as the car lifts up, just when the car stops to unloads and the suspension rises up, it's natural for the upper control arm to push the tire back out. It's because it hinges kind of like this. The lower control arm is pretty much fixed, and then the upper control arm, as everything compresses and stuff, will pull and push the top of the spindle, which is where the hub is, which is what the wheel is attached to. It'll pull the top of that in more. So that's why. But okay, so as we're going through these corner here, and you can see the peaks right here. You can see where you're at. So 77, 74, 86, 82. We were only a few degrees, 1 or 2 up there, and we're slowly dialing in more. So, and like I said, I do believe 6 was a good starting point that I really wanted to hit. So back to the old drawing board. Good deal. All right. Back out. Now here's something else. This may seem like maybe like a waste of time, but there's something else I'm going to get out of this. So at night, I have the temperature and everything set to the hottest possible air temperature, which means the hottest possible track temperature. So, and I'm not saying that well, let me just explain it to you. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to optimize the tire pressures, the hot tire pressures. I'm going to find the optimal hot tire pressures and the optimal camber for the hottest track condition at night. Okay, so I know that end of the spectrum. So like, I'm going to find what 90 is. I will go back and then do this whole thing over again, which will be faster because I'm going to be in the ballpark with tire pressures. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it for the coldest possible temperatures, which I think is like 62. Okay, so I'm going to know what the hot is, optimal tire pressure, and I'm going to know what the coldest track conditions, I should say with the coldest, what the optimal hot tire pressure is for the coldest track conditions. Okay, so you have the hottest track conditions, the optimal tire pressures and camber, the optimal tire pressure and camber for the coldest conditions, and you can almost draw a line. I'm not saying that it's 100% linear, but you will be able to be ballpark, you know. So I know what 62 is, I know what 90, whatever the heck it is, 90 is. Hey, at 85, I should be able to go somewhere along that line and say Oh, it should be right around here, and then I only have to hunt just a little bit. It makes that process faster. So, I'm pretty sure we did that. Let me just double check and make sure that I have OBS set up properly so I can... You guys aren't looking at a blank screen. Okay, good. You guys aren't going to look at a blank screen while I go full non-windowed mode or full screen mode, whichever it is. All right, let's go out and do this. So good you don't really, you get so excited that you don't roll a corner as much as you need to. See, I got back to gas a little early. The temperature split's is increasing, but the tire wear is still pretty good. So. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the peak temperature. 69, 64. See, now we're up into the 5 degrees. The rears are actually not that bad. So that's 6. The rears are at 6. The fronts are at 5. So looks like we're going to be getting around the ballpark. But all right. So not too shabby. We'll go do one in the back. 47, 49. I must be getting sick because I feel like all I want to do is take a nap. And I never sleep during the day. Doesn't feel as good. Times are showing improvement too, so that's good. So that's pretty decent. I think I'm gonna have to hit or vacate the runway. Under traffic controller, vacate the runway. I'm gonna have to vacate the track a little sooner, probably right about there. Because if I go into the corner, intending to pit, and stay on that bottom, because that's a racing line, I'm gonna get run over. Okay, so we made a decent amount of progress, so we can save it, and we can come back out and we can come look at the telemetry and see exactly how the temperature split looks. All right. So 72, 66. See, we're getting even more. So that's about still 6 degrees. 6 degrees. All right. So we should be pretty good there. Okay. So let's look at the front. That's 5 degrees. And that's 10 degrees. So I don't know if we can go any. Oh yeah, we can. A little bit lower back there. And how the front look? Oh, 5 degrees, so we'll leave it like that. All right. Now what we're going to do is 53.7, and we're about 256 degrees, but we're starting to look like developing a push. Let's see how the dynamic loading looks. $24.75, $24.27. All right. I think we got a little bit of room. Drop 100 pounds off that. Back up to 62. 1.3, 1.4, close enough. All right, so we can dip back in and do some of that. All right. So 53.7. Let's start bringing the left sides up. Okay, 662, 850. There we go. 0.02 of an inch isn't going to be anything. All right, let's go see what we got. Got a little bit of push loose. Actually, the car just feels a little how can I say it? It's a little unstable. It feels like the arrow is off just a tad. So we are going to, goodness gracious me, back that off just a tick. All right. Okay. All right. Because it over rotates through the middle, and then whenever you correct it, then you get a push. So you're actually starting to slide everything in. Center pressure back just a little bit, widen that gap in between the center of gravity and the center of pressure. And there it is. And it looks like we're already all the way up on the rear wing as far as the angle goes. Else we can stick on is the looker. It seems so comfortable. That we'll call it quits because it's Halloween. Gonna have trick-or-treaters come here in a few minutes, and that'll be that. So right now, what I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna spread that out just a little more. I think that was the right direction. We can go from 44.59%. On 44.52. Just out of curiosity, what will the rigger do? Yeah, that one had a lot. So if whenever we start dialing more downforce, we'll add the wicker and then we'll adjust back up front. So there we go. We're gonna save that as that. And since we're getting out of here anyway, we'll go take a look real quick at that short run in telemetry and see how those left side tires are faring. See if we made any improvements there. Must hit a bump or something. But at any rate, still in the ballpark. Look, see what the tires are doing. 47.52. And it looks like we could be way more aggressive on those. So we're going to keep that in mind for next time. And we're going to call it a day and get ready for some Halloweening. All right. So, again, thank you for those who are watching. I hope it helped out a little bit. This is pretty much just a tire day, just to see the process that I take in dialing in tire pressures and camber. So you do the same thing as for the right sides as you do for the left. I usually just start off with the right sides because it's just they're worked harder. So I like to get those optimized first and then bring in the left side optimization, and then you kind of, as you get that finished out, you start going back, and then you start finding more speed in the thing, and you start finding more speed in the thing. You know, mess around with a little more aerodynamic downforce, less aerodynamic downforce, and then especially the dampers. So we'll get into the dampers probably on Friday, hopefully, if I'm around, if I'm not doing wedding stuff. But other than that, appreciate you watching. Spread the word. Subscribe down there in the corner. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, everybody have a great Halloween, and we'll see you soon. Take care.